There has been many different factors which are required for the real development of the human being into a healthy, harmonious and fulfilling life, which has been shared and given in all these centuries. So it is not that there is a lack of information. What is important is to emphasize, insist on the need of applying this understanding, putting it into practice and bringing it into day-to-day living, so that it is not just an information on an intellectual level which one has collected and is carrying, but through the practice it enables you to come to the understanding of what is meant with all these words, what is meant with all these indications, what can really happen, what you are able to see, what you are able to recognize. That is why the emphasis which I am now bringing in is that you put it into practice, that all that you have understood from different sources get applied so that it can bring a quality of presence, of inner wakefulness in an otherwise not so consciously gone about life process. And it has to be brought in a playful way, it has to be brought in without any fighting and struggling approach, but with a recognition that we have the tendency to forget. We have the tendency to hold to the habits, to hold to that what is convenient, comfortable, and very often don't consider what is important, what is valuable. When you consider, it becomes possible for you to see what leads one into which direction, what leads one into clarity and light, what leads one into darkness and entanglement. So the reminders which I am giving are very simple reminders which you can easily put into practice when from your side the understanding is there that it is necessary really to apply it. It is necessary to bring in an ongoing inner wakefulness in the life, and that it does not happen by itself. It comes through your inner decisiveness, your inner determination to allow it, to bring it in a non-struggling way. So there is a certain kind of gentle persistence in a way that you also accept contradictory feelings which come in you, that you accept your forgetfulness, that you accept that sometimes there are factors working against it in you. And when I say you accept, I'm saying simply don't go into fighting against it. Notice that it is there, but don't also follow it blindly. So it is this kind of a gentle persuasion which you need to bring from within, so that a undercurrent wakefulness can go on, an undercurrent remembrance, an undercurrent presence can enter into the way you live through the day-to-day life. So there are two reminders. One is very much applicable, and in fact you may find more chances to apply it than one normally would imagine. Because in our time, the cell phone has become a very important part of the day-to-day living. So we can use it as a bridge. And the first reminder is, whenever you are beginning to operate the cell phone, whether you are making a call or receiving a call or making a sending of a message or checking on the internet, before you start, breathe out deeply. And wait for the inhalation to happen. Wait for the natural intake of the breath. Notice that, and then start with whatever activity you want to do, whether it is calling or receiving or sometimes when you are receiving the call, you may feel the urgency. So look how far you can incorporate it in the receiving part also. But before you do anything else, breathe out deeply and wait for the inhalation to happen, and then attend. This seemingly simple and small reminder put into practice can be very, very valuable. And remember, it need not be limited only to the cell phone. When you are at home and you are receiving any phone calls, whether it is on the landline or any kind of connection like that, bring this aspect of remembrance in this way, that you breathe out first deeply, and then wait for the inhalation to happen, and then proceed with your activity. This is the first reminder. And the second reminder is a little bit more elaborate and somewhat time-consuming. But those who have understood the need and the urgency to bring the remembrance in a deeper way can also see the significance of such reminder and really bring it into practice. This second reminder is that 7 times a day, at different points, whenever you can find the gaps, take 10 minutes each for yourself. Orient to 7 times. If it becomes less or more, it is okay. And in this 10 minutes, the first 5 minutes, you simply remember to observe the natural flow of the breath. The inhalation, the way it is happening, the exhalation, the way it is happening. Be present to it. It is not trying to interfere, it is not trying to judge, it is not trying to control. It is simply a non-interfering way of being present to the natural flow of breath. The first 5 minutes, observe the breath, and after that, deepen your observation into being in touch with all the thoughts, all the feelings, all that what is working in you, apparently and undercurrently. Just be present to it, just like you have been present to the breath in a non-interfering way. Be present to all these thoughts and feelings which are working in you. This about 7 times at different periods of the day, whenever you find it practical and possible. It has a great significance from various perspectives, but one of the most significant things which I want to mention is that our normal way of going about life is very much other-oriented, outward-oriented, and focused on the periphery. By bringing attention, we are also turning the attention to that what is taking place in us. So it is a deepening of the awareness process. It is an including of the perceiver in the process of perception, including the observer in the process of observation, including the experiencer in the process of experiencing. And this has a very significant and supportive effect, because you will be surprised that through such a small step in your life, how your understanding, your experiencing of life can so significantly, positively deepen. It has long supportive processes which are developing through it. So I will not go into elaborating on it, but bring this into practice at least for the next 7 weeks. And see what it does, so that it becomes really an experiential recognition of what can happen when you are deliberately bringing this remembrance and wakefulness into the life. So these are the 2 reminders which I would recommend to everybody who is listening to this to apply and practice. Because it is in practical, experiential understanding of what is really indicated in the deeper sense that the real development in the human being can take place. Otherwise, there is so much knowledge, so much intellectual understanding, which is not real understanding, which are simply factors which can prepare one to take the steps. But the steps have to be taken, it has to be applied into the living, and through the direct understanding, come to realize what you are, what is your reality. And in this way, open the eyes to see the wonder of life, to experience the true beauty, the true blessing what life is. But you have to face all what you are avoiding and going around in an accepting way so that you can see beyond it. You can see behind it. That is why in the beginning it can be connected with automatic resistance coming from inside. It can be connected with tendencies to avoid such things. You have to understand that also, accept that also, but continue. So this is what is very supportive and valuable, and practice both these reminders during the next 7 weeks as wholeheartedly, as energetically as you can, and let the understanding develop through that.